Hi guys, so today it is Tuesday and I want to talk to you about the wonderful world of fan fiction and the two websites that I love and oh my angst too. I don't know if angst is the right word though, but aside from that, personally speaking, I've been writing on fanfiction.net for over 10 years. I did go on a bit of a hiatus a couple years back for no other reason than life happened, shit hit the fan, and I just didn't want to write anymore. And I mean, I was constantly updating. I was writing literally every chance I got. And I had a teacher last semester tell us about the word literal. There you go. And how it shouldn't be used unless you are actually doing that or something is actually happening because of the definition for it. Well, I can tell you with certainty that I was literally writing at every moment I got. Yeah, and if you don't believe me, you can ask anyone that knew me between that time. I'm sorry, the glare was just driving me nuts. So, I mean, I would get up in the morning, I would have a notebook like this, except it wasn't this. I would get a notebook out or a binder and it'd be full of pages and chapters, and I would sit there and I would handwrite everything. I actually hated typing at that time. I hated updating my chapters because I hated typing them. I would write, you know, say 14 pages to a chapter or, you know, thousands of words for a chapter, and then I have to type it all. I don't want to type it all. If I need to type something, I'd rather type it, you know, just kind of freehand while I'm like free flowing with the ideas, not sitting with something next to me and I'm typing from it. I've hated it. I've always hated doing it, and I still hate it to this day. But I would wake up, I would start writing, I'd get all these ideas in my head from while I was dreaming. I would actually dream in fan fiction, like in my story ideas. A couple of my stories were created based off the dreams that I had for these characters. So I did that all the time. I did it through high school when I started. I did it through college, my first like 4 years, 2 when I was in a community college and then 2 when I was in New York. And I literally would have a free moment. I'd have my notebook open and I'd be writing because the ideas were right there. I wanted to get these characters and their stories told. Very fun. Very awesome. For me anyway. But I would actually like not hang out with people just so I could write. Like, but I really want to write this story, so like I don't want to hang out with my friend and do whatever. And it wasn't against anything against them. I just didn't want to do it. I really wanted to write my stories. So I would do that all of the time. And then stuff happened and I kind of lost that entire drive to write. I couldn't pick up a pencil, I couldn't, you know, open a notebook. All of my fan fictions, all of my novel ideas kind of just went out the window because I didn't actually want to write anymore. So yeah, and that was a couple of years ago and I'm slowly picking myself back up. I mean, I still don't have not the push, I just don't have the drive to do as much as I used to, but I'm like trying to get myself to like write a chapter a day, especially for the one story that is, you know, been in the works for 2 years now, and I really want to get it done for myself and for my fans because I hate leaving stuff open. And there are fan fictions on my website that actually haven't been finished because I switched fandoms many years ago with the idea that I'd go back to them after I finished like one story, and then something would happen and I would never finish it. And I feel awful. Like, I feel awful because I hate reading stories like that and I hate doing it to my readers. But yeah, so that's my fanfiction history. I recently got into Archive of My Own. According to them, I've been a member since 14, I think. But I actually just started updating it pretty recently because I was a big fanfiction.net user. I never really got into Archive, and I would read things off of Archive, but I would never post. And if I posted it was just the stuff off of .net, and I'd bring it over to Archive. So that has been about me. And this is a bit of why, not why I can say what I say, not at all, but why I'm very passionate about this subject that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, because it is near and dear to my heart, and my God, the story that I'm reading is killing me. here we go. I am reading a story on Archive that I didn't find by accident, but I started reading it because of it was under a tag I was looking for. At night, I can't sleep. I open up Archive or fanfiction, whatever, and I read something that I have read before, simply for the fact that I can fall asleep to it and I'm not missing any important details, information, stuff like that. Well, while I was looking for a tag that I liked reading under the fandom that I write and read for, I saw this one story, the first story that came up, and it was this new story that I never heard of. It was by an author I didn't know, but it was a 3-part series. And I didn't want to read a 3-part series at 11 o'clock at night, knowing I had class and work the next day. So I skipped it. Well, the next day I opened up my iPad and I was looking at the tag again because the summary intrigued me. And I'm always looking for new stories under the tag that I like. So I go back to it and I open it and I'm like, do I read this? Do I not read this? It's kind of long. I mean, each series is between like 30 and 40 chapters. The third series is actually 52 and up as it's still going up. But I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. I'll read a couple chapters. If I like it, I'll continue reading it. If I don't like it, then I'll just put it away. It's not the big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. So I open it up. I start reading it and I like the story. I'm not totally in love with it, but I like the story. And there was just something about it that kept me going. The relationship between the two main characters was just adorable, and they're my babies and I love them and they're my OTP, and my heart went out to them when they were struggling, and it was awful. And I read, you know, the second series like the next day, and the third series I read the next day because I just couldn't put it down. And while it had its flaws for me, there was just so much goodness about this story. And I definitely have my favorite fanfiction authors, which I will definitely put in the comments, not the comments, in the section below for you guys, because they need the love. They are amazing and I love them, and they were like my favorite author. I've never subscribed to somebody so fast because everything they write that is in a fandom that I read is golden and it's beautiful, and them and their co-authors, I want to hug them because they are just so good. And the feels that you get, oh my god. But this story wasn't part of that. Like, I just found it by accident. So, but I sat up last night. I was so exhausted. I have been up since 5:45 in the morning, and I did 5 hours of class. I did 5 hours of work. I drove for like an hour and a half to get to class and to get home, and it was like 10 o'clock by the time I got home. And I was just exhausted. I had fallen asleep twice that day, once in a club meeting and once between classes because I was just so exhausted. But I sat up for 2 hours catching up to the current ending of the series, waiting for an update. So, I mean, I read a good 20-something chapters in 2 hours, and the chapters weren't that long, which helped, but I mean, I couldn't put it down. It was so gripping that I was freaking out. I'm holding, you know, my iPad sits, you know, behind my pillow, and I'm kind of leaning on my pillow and I'm reading it, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't, my baby, and I'm freaking out, and I have to be really quiet because my family is asleep at this time. So I was like, I am just a total mess at this point, and I'm freaking out. I'm so worried that my character is gonna die because it took me 30 series and 20 chapters to realize the tags of this were major character death and then non-consented sex. So I was like, oh shit. Like, it's intense. And now I'm freaking out because one of the characters that I've like fallen in love with is on the verge of death, and I don't know what's going on. I am freaking out, and this is why I'm making this video, because I want to know what animates you the way I'm animated right now. What story have you guys read or are currently reading that you cannot get enough of, that you are just freaking out over because, you know, it's either finished and you just love it and you have to keep reading it, or if is it, you know, ongoing? Is it been on hiatus? What are you guys, what is that one story that just gripped you in such a way, whether it be your favorite story or just a story that was well written, or maybe it was just something totally out of the blue, like you just happened to see it and you read it and you're like, oh my god, like what made you freak out? I think everyone that's read a fan fiction or read anything for that matter that was really engrossed in the story became, you know, was up at 1 in the morning freaking out over these characters. And that is something so awesome about, you know, writing in general, whether it be fan fiction or it be like a non-fiction or sci-fi or anything. If the writing is really good, you will be so engrossed in, and I love the fact that, you know, just simple words can do that to anybody. I mean, anyone can read something and just feel a connection. I mean, I'm freaking out. I can't even, I wish I could have recorded my reactions because I could, you know, reenact them, but they're not the same. I was freaking out so badly, and I'm still waiting for an update from this author. And like, while I was catching up, I realized that the update date was always the day that I was reading. So I was like, oh my god, so they must be updating like once a day. Here it is, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm still waiting for an update. So I don't know if it's like a midnight thing or if they're just stopped right now, but I need an update. I need to know if this character's gonna live or die because he has a family that needs him. And I am just like, I am a hot mess right now because I'm just so, oh my god. And so what story are you guys reading or have read or whatever? What is your story that has made you freak out? When I first started writing fanfiction, I had this girl who, she's near to my heart always. We don't talk anymore because, you know, things got in the way, whatever, but, you know, she will always have a special place in my heart. And I would be writing and I'd be going through this period where I was having trouble writing and everything, and she would comment on a story and she's like, my friend did my makeup at 1 in the morning and now I'm crying and I hate you so much, but you're amazing and please don't stop. And I would be freaking out because I was like, I had that connect, like I caused that emotion to a person. And as a writer, that's a really good feeling, knowing that you know, you did your characters justice by making the reader feel what you wanted them to feel. And, you know, whatever you put your characters through, whether it be love or hate or war or whatever, if your readers are feeling, you know, some sort of emotion from your characters, and you're doing your job. And it is a great feeling. And so whether you be reading or writing, what is your greatest and, you know, most exciting moment for you? What made you cry or scream or make you really animated and giddy and excited? And, you know, and if you're a writer and you're writing, what story of yours got you so, you know, it gave you a new passion for writing. It made you want to continue writing and just keep going. And that's what I'm leaving with you guys today. I want you guys to think about it and to post in the comments below what you are reading. And I'm going to post in the comments my favorite fanfiction author from Archive, and they're amazing. You check them out because they are just phenomenal. They write on a few different fandoms, but I love them and I'm going to show them all the support. And I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to kudos and review on the stories that you like though, because as an author, it is one of the greatest things in the world. It makes our day. We are very passionate people and we like praise. Something like that sounds good. But anyway, I will see you guys next week. Have a great day. Have a great week. And this is Liz signing off. Bye.